it's not, there's so much focus on the astronauts, but it really is a team sport, and I think we really got a sense for that yesterday going into mission control.
For those of you just joining us, Charissa, Kristin, Ariane here, Tabitha with the friends and family, and then we see the astronauts here. They have loaded up from the astronaut training center. They're in the Rivians, going at quite a speed, I will say, on the road to space, which
what a
is
shot. Look at that
really
sunrise.
beautiful. I was just going to say, which is such a beautiful shot there, the aerial view from our helicopters. But you know, there's been conversation leading up to this, and I loved, Kristin, you had pointed out when you get asked, like, well, why do this? And you had said something that I thought was so interesting. It's like, well, then why travel? You know, you say it more eloquently than I
There
can.
is, of course, criticism, right? Like, why should we care about this? Why should we care about your average person, even though these women are not average? Why should we care about them or celebrities going to space? Or why should we even be going to space, period? And my answer to that is, well, why do we travel? Why go to Paris? Why go to London? Why go to Japan? It's because it does something to you that's different than just looking at a photograph. You experience it in a different way, and it changes your perspective. It makes you a better person. It makes you understand other cultures and civilizations and other people. It makes you have more sympathy, and you hear about the over come back to Earth, and is where more, and you realize that we are all just one. So I'm excited to see what they have to say.
And I'm excited. Look, the moment has come here. So Ariane, walk our audience through sort of what happens next as they are approaching.
Sure. So they have just driven down the road to space, the 2 miles. They are going to go to the north end of that circle and jump out of their Rivians and take a cool shot, a photo that is, with the rocket in the background. Again, all of this is very tightly choreographed, and we want to make sure that they do this quickly so that they can get back in the Rivians, go back around the circle to the base of the tower. At that point, we're going to get them into the elevator that will take them up to the south tower. That's the one in the background. There, our crew, they are ready to load the crew into the capsule itself. This is, safety is paramount at Blue Origin, so we want the minimum number of people out there next to the rocket for the least amount of time. So we keep it fast, we keep all these procedures tight.
But we got to do a quick photo shoot by the rocket.
I mean,
so good.
It's history, you know. We got to capture that moment. And again, for those of you just joining us, this is something that I was not aware of. That beautiful rocket right there, New Shepard, didn't come out until this morning, right? So explain a little bit more for those people that are just tuning in, sort of how the setup works.
Sure, that is correct. So at about 2 o'clock this morning Central Time, we rolled the vehicle out. There you see on the truck with the capsule already what we call mated to the rocket. You'll see here in a moment the rocket, it goes very slowly, just want to make sure we take care of our baby as well. Goes out there, the truck will turn the vehicle vertical, and at that point we connect all the pipes and the hoses to the vehicle, and we start loading the vehicle with propellant. Right there, it's empty. That's for safety and security reasons. That's also, it makes it easier to turn vertical. We'll load the vehicle with propellants all the way up to the last moment. We put in there, you heard it earlier in our webcast, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Those are the two propellants that fire into what we call our BE3 engine, our Blue Engine 3. And our team in mission control from that point on has got their eyes glued to their monitors to make sure that the propellants in the tank stay within bounds, within temperature bounds, within pressure bounds.
As they make their way here onto, they'll take the elevator, right? They won't take the stairs.
That is correct. Yeah. So we just inserted the elevator relatively recently. It makes it a little bit more comfortable as you're going up to the top of the tower. You know, we're at about 3,000 feet above ground level in altitude up here in a dry, dusty desert. we just want to make it a little bit easier for them.
And it's worth noting too, so the 6 women are headed up. We saw Jeff is with them as well, but also crew member 7. Explain to those at home who crew member 7 is.
Right, it's like, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to use a football reference
Please
for you,
do.
Aaron. And we come, I called you Aaron like your girl. Sorry, oh my goodness. I know, oh my goodness. So it's like the 12th man. There's 6 crew members that are going obviously in the capsule, but nobody from Blue Origin will be in the capsule. It'll be the crew member 7 that has been training them. We saw Sarah Knights as the second driver in addition to Jeff Bezos. And then, a little confusing, we've got a second crew member 7 who is going to be on Capcom, or capsule communicator. Today, her name is Laura Stiles. She will be the person that is in our astronauts' ears, communicating with them, making sure everything's going okay, also telling them, hey, this is when you can unbuckle, and this is when you can...
That's her right there.
That's Sarah Knights right there, exactly.
And now we are looking at what?
So now the crew, as well as you see Jeff Bezos there, have gone into the safety shelter, and we're gonna wait there. You see Sarah Knights on the right. She's gonna just communicate with the Blue Origin team that is at the other tower just next to the rocket to make sure that everything is set and sorted for them to do their final load. This happens very shortly here. We clock it at about T-minus 35 minutes, but we'll only do it when we're ready.
And in case some of you are wondering what a safety room is or why it's there, it's, again, what Ariane was talking about. You want to keep these astronauts as safe as possible for as long as possible. Of course, they'll be safe when they actually get in the rocket, but just in case anything were to go wrong, we had the chance to go inside this room a few days ago, and it is, I mean, is it a bomb-proof room? Do you want to say that? I mean, it is.
It is.
Yeah, and you feel it when you're in there. You're like, oh gosh, now
this
it feels real.
Yeah.
And after going up that elevator, you know, for us, I think that's the moment where we weren't even going into space, and all 3 of us were like, whoa,
okay,
it gets real serious.
Yeah,
but I love the access that we obviously have in being able to see these women before they go up. For those of you just joining us, we are T-minus 34 minutes to launch for NS-31, Blue Origin's 11th human flight. As you can see there, a little live look in as them saying some words before they take off. Yeah. So I know that we had started to expand upon it and then took a shot of the astronauts. So what will they feel? Sort of walk us through the physical part of what they'll experience, Ariane, once they are in the capsule.
So once they're in the capsule and they're ready for takeoff, first they'll hear the engine when it ignites. It sounds like a pop. Everybody listening will also hear that. It sounds like a pop, and the engine roars. We hold the rocket down for about 7 seconds, make sure it's all ramped up, and during that period, that can actually be one of the most, frankly, nerve-wracking times, because you start to, if you're in the capsule, you start to see the glow of the flame. And here they come.
Here we go.
Loading into the capsule.
And the significance here of the bell, and I should note before I have you explain that, each crew names themselves. They have named themselves the 6 taking up space, as each one is ringing a bell. And the significance of that is what, Ariane?
This is one of our traditions. All astronauts throughout history in various programs have had their traditions. For us, we always want our astronauts to ring the bell. Above there, you see, light this candle. Those were the last words that Alan Shepard said right before he went to space. Alan Shepard, of course, the namesake of our vehicle. He was the first American into suborbital space. And we just like to let the stars know that we've got some people heading their way.
Absolutely. As they load in, I will... In my world, we call it an audible here. Just if we have any sound from mission control or anything, I'd love to take a peek at what's going on in there and just give the folks at home some idea of what's happening there. There we go.
There we go.
So we don't have sound of it, but we can see all of the brain behind this beast.
But I could tell you, Charissa, other than a couple of a couple of discussion points on the radio. Honestly, it's about this quiet when you're in there.
Really? That surprises me. Because you would think, like, you know, in a control room in TV, it's a chaos, right? In the best way, but in there, it's quiet.
And honestly, chaos is, quite frankly, the last word I would use to describe our mission control. This team, they're working through very specific procedures on a very specific timeline. They've done their own rehearsals over and over again. We also want to keep the communication line open if anything, you know, if anybody's got to call it out. But it is a very well choreographed team we've got.
And, you know, when folks are wondering, you know, what exactly 2 days of this space flight, done rehearsals and dry everything that you're seeing here. They practice over and over getting inside this capsule, strapping themselves in. And, you know, one of the biggest things that they have to remember to do is when they get those, remember, they only get 4 minutes of weightlessness, 4 precious minutes. They have to unbuckle and then buckle back in at the exact right moment. So those are some of the things that they're learning to do and practicing while they're training in that building right behind us.
As we look at new Shepard 31, the 31st mission, the 11th human flight here for Blue Origin. We are T-minus 30 minutes. Charissa Thompson, Kristin Fisher, Ariane Cornell with us, and Tabitha Lipkin at the tower. I am going to be leaving here in just a few minutes. I'm going to go to fallback 3, an area. Then I will wait for the capsule to land. I'll wait for the recovery team to come out and then bring you interviews from each of our astronauts as they arrive back here on Earth. I cannot wait for that. Again, we've seen them load now into the capsule, and I just would love, you know, some more play-by-play, Ariane, of sort of what now this process looks like, as it's all new to me. And for any of you that are also joining us for your first launch, welcome. And now we'll let the experts tell us what's going on.
So you saw them loading. You saw them loading into the capsule. They are getting into their seats. They're getting into their harnesses. It's a 5-point harness, so clicking them all in.
All right, we're hearing that Capcom right now. Sorry to interrupt you, Ariane, which is short for capsule communicator, and ready to do the astronaut comm check. So let's take a listen. Laura Stiles has the mic.
Sales look great. Right. Right.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at T-minus 26 minutes and 50 seconds to go until NS-31. New Blue Origin's 31st mission for our New Shepard rocket, our 11th human flight. I'm Ariane Cornell here with Kristin Fisher at the desk. Charissa Thompson has left to get into place for her viewing spot for the launch. We are waiting on Capcom, or the capsule communicator, to run the comms check with our astronauts. But Kristin, we were just talking a second ago about what's going on here. You see our crew member 7, Sarah Knights, who's coming out of the capsule there. She has helped load our crew into the capsule, has done just a double check, making sure those seatbelts are nice and tight, as well as made sure that the earpieces and everything are set for our astronauts. I should note, just as we give kind of we got this beautiful aerial shots this morning of the rocket. We have these sunshades you see on the at the top of the capsule, that kind of white square. We've got one there in the foreground, and coming around you'll see another one on the back. Those windows are so large that it can kind of act like a greenhouse in there, and especially down here in the West Texas desert, it can get a bit toasty in there. So we've got some nice sunshade for their comfort. And
I love that we can see some of the crewmates inside the capsule as they're getting strapped in. I think you could see Lauren Sánchez right to the left of the hatch right there from that camera shot. So pretty cool that you can see them this close to lifting off. Ariane, I have to say,
I might break in. You got experience.
Jeff Bezos here.
Yep.
I'm so excited for you. I don't want to get off. I want to go with you. And when you get back, I can't wait to hear how it's changed you. I love all of you. See you soon. Godspeed. Grudatum ferocitor.
And there you heard it. Some words of support from Jeff Bezos, founder of Blue Origin, also astronaut himself from our first launch. So, of course, Lauren Sánchez is Jeff's fiance, one of her supporters. But as we mentioned before, we've got lots of friends and family that are supporting the rest of the astronauts here. They are out at the viewing tower. Let's turn it over to Tabitha. Tabitha, have you had a chance to chat with some of the family members out there?
A lot of friends and family have come out here, and it is an exciting vibe. I am standing by with two women who need no introduction. And Chris, I have to start with you. What is it like to be here, and what brought you all the way out here to this launch?
Well, Lauren and Jeff, we're here to support our girlfriend and our friends, and I never thought that we'd be talking to you from a space launch. For sure. So this is a really unique experience, and we're just so honored to be here to support them and watch this amazing part of history. And I'm so proud of her. And I just feel like
all of the female astronauts that are going to go up today. It's such a big day in history, and it's so empowering, especially my daughter is 7, and just to see something like this. And I mean, somebody said their grandfather was here that's 92, then they didn't even have transportation back then the way that we do now, and now they're going to space.
It's pretty amazing. That's Aisha's grandfather. 92 came all the way here.
That's where the story, I was like, I heard this story, and he had no airplanes, nothing back in his day. Now he's seeing his granddaughter go into space. That's a beautiful thing.
It's really incredible.
And how does it feel also to be able to share this with multi-generations within your family?
It's really something. It's just Kim keeps writing us because she was supposed to be here with us, and she's studying for law school, so she had a big test that she had to take. Again, something I'm very proud of, but she just keeps calling, going, I have such FOMO, tell me every minute of it. So it's very inspirational, and just super proud of the girls, every one of them. And it's a very brave thing to do, and I think it also just says something, like Chloe said, to my 13 grandchildren. Yeah.
And what can you say to that too, for your children?
Oh, I just think it's really whatever you dream of is in our reach, especially in today's day and age. And dream big, wish for the stars, and one day you could maybe be amongst them.
That's so beautiful. And just before I send it back, any last messages to the astronauts before they take off?
I think just great luck. Be present. I mean, I'm so excited. I love the messaging that we keep receiving from the staff here at Blue Origin is don't film it through your phones, look through your eyes, be as present as possible. They will supply all the content that we need and to give to our families, but I love just being in the moment.
Yeah, same.
And we're gonna
Excited.
Yeah, we're so excited. We're going to be in the moment too here. We're going to send it back to you guys at the desk and we're going to start watching.
Love you, ladies. Good luck.
Bye.
We had no idea that Chris and Chloe were going to be here, and we're about to be interviewed by Tabitha. So that was a nice little treat. They sure looked the part, you know.
Oh, they're ready for their day out here in Texas. I love it.
Yeah, and you know, for those of you watching, we're really in the middle of the desert. We're a solid 2-hour drive from El Paso. And as you were saying yesterday, Ariane, you know, you really get the sense like you start in El Paso and the more you get out here, you do start to feel like you're on another planet. I mean, it's got quite a moonscape, Marscape vibe. And our guests that are here today, as we just saw in Chris and Chloe, are dressing the part.
Well, so let's bring it back to the real stars of the show, our astronauts. And one of our astronauts that we haven't heard from yet is Gayle King. She has obviously a lot of emotions going into this flight. Let's hear what she has to say from this interview with Tabitha Limkin just a couple of days ago.
When I made the decision to come, there were only 3 people whose opinion matters to me the most. Favorite daughter Kirby, favorite son Will, and Oprah. That's my kitchen cabinet. And all of them said, I think you should do it. All of them, much to my surprise, including Oprah. I really thought she was going to say, nope, I don't think you should do it.
And she was like, do it.
She said, I really think you should do it because you've been talking about it. And when it comes back and you're not on it, you're going to be kicking yourself saying, I could have gone and I didn't. And I don't want to have to hear about it for the next few years. And, you know, I think everybody in this group is a storyteller and explorer. And to be able to take this message and tell other people what it was like from our different perspectives, I think is very significant.
Do you have a message for the kids watching?
You should always know that no dream is too big. You know, we have someone, Aisha, who was told when she was a kid, your dreams are too big, you need to dream smaller. No child should ever be told that. And so I want people to know no dream is too big. And also, LL Cool J said this to me once, dreams don't have deadlines. Isn't that good?
That is real good.
Dreams don't have deadlines. I've never forgotten that he said that, and I believe that as well.
What are you taking up with you?
Oh, I have a bunch of stuff. I have Luca. I wanted one of his favorite toys, so I have a Sesame Street character called Tamir. Tamir is this little black boy with great curly hair, so Tamir gets to go to space. I have a wooden cross that you can hold in your hands. It fits like in 3 prongs. And a stranger came up to me at the airport. She said, I always hear you talk about being a nervous flyer, and I wanted you to have this. And so if you're ever on a flight and you feel nervous, take it out and hold it. So whenever I'm flying, I have this with me.
Also, I just noticed, what is this on your wrist?
So Jared, who's one of our jib operators at CBS Morning, his daughter, Denise, who's 7, made this for me. And she came into my makeup room and said, I made this for you. Someone else gave me Astronaut Era.
That's pretty great.
Space Sister, Amanda just gave me this. I mean, so I feel that I feel I'm pretty well protected.
Absolutely.
I will say this, as excited as I am, I'll be very glad when we come back down. I will be very, very, very glad about that.
Well, clearly we heard Gayle there and prior to coming down here in Texas, nervous and excited at the same time, but one of the things I like about this is that she just makes it real, you know? Regardless of who you are, this is a nerve-wracking experience, and the fact that she's so authentic about it, but also, more so, she is stepping so far out of her comfort zone. I think that in its own right is extraordinarily inspirational.
I think most people would feel the way that Gayle is feeling right about now. If you're about to launch into space. You know, one of the things that I find so refreshing is that, you know, back in the early days of human spaceflight, you had the Mercury astronauts, and they were all white male military test pilots, and they all had to have the right stuff. You could never talk about nerves or being nervous or your feelings or stuff like that. That was the wrong stuff. But now, in 2025, it is the right stuff to be like Gayle King and talk about those concerns and fears and excitement that you have before launching into space like that. And that really shows you just how much the human spaceflight experience has changed over the last half century or so. And that really is what today is all about. I know there are some people watching this or who have heard about this who are thinking, why should I care about people going into space, you know? Katy Perry, a famous pop star. Why should I care about that? And the reason is, it's missions like this that really begin the process of opening up space to everyone, for all of humanity. That's what today is about.
And I think we have to, it's not just about today. Today is very, very important, but I think also one of the reasons that I love working at Blue Origin is we think in very long time scales. Right? I honestly feel like I'm working at a company that will be here in at least 100 years. And that's how we think about space flight. Oh my gosh, look at that cute little kid. She is ready to go to space too. Aww. I absolutely adore that. But we need to be here precisely for kids like that. You cannot, I am a firm believer that you cannot be it if you can't see it. And that's what this flight is for. It's about inspiring women. Oh, look at, talk about inspirational women. Several female astronauts in that group right there.
How many astronauts do we have there?
I see
4 or 5?
At least 4 or 5 and counting. It's a tight group that's only going to get bigger of those female astronauts there. You see Kelly Girardi and Cyan Proctor. I see Emily Calandrelli, Sarisha Bandla. I mean, just an incredible group of women that have gone to space already. And after today, in just 15 minutes, we are going to be adding 6 more to that group.
It's getting close, Ariane.
It is getting close. So with that. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us for NS-31, our 11th mission, human spaceflight mission to space here. We are at T-minus 14 minutes and 30 seconds, just to give you a little bit of a preview of what is to come. At about T-minus 10 minutes, we are going to have the go, no-go poll. We're going to throw it back to mission control audio. And basically what that is we go through each of the important subsystems, and our flight director, shout out to Michelle Christensen, our flight director, our first female flight director at Blue Origin. She is going to lead that poll, and we're going to go to each one of the groups and say, are you ready to go for this flight? Is your subsystem ready to go for this flight or not? And they will go around the room, and with the final go, no, go, it will be game time here in West Texas for this launch. Look at that. Now, this child is a little younger than you were when your parents went to space.
A little bit older.
Oh, excuse me, a little older, pardon me.
Yeah, because I was just 15 months old when my mom flew in space. And, I think about what it must have been like for her to be a first-time mom and training for her first space flight all in 1 year. And she was a part of NASA's original first 6 women astronauts alongside Sally Ride. Of course, it took them, those first 6 female NASA astronauts, 2.5 years for all of them to fly into space. Now, today, Blue Origin is going to send 6 women into space in a single day. I mean, that's pretty cool right there.
That's incredible perspective. Also that, was your mom just 6 months? You were just 6 months old when she started training?
She was assigned to her first space flight when she was 8 months pregnant with me. Can you imagine?
God, I have a 6-month-old. I can barely fly down to West Texas from Seattle.
She gave birth to me on a Friday and was back in the astronaut office on Monday. I don't recommend doing that. As a mom of 2 myself, you're a mom of 2, I probably wouldn't do that. But
respect.
She did, Respect,
that's huge.
But I've asked her, I'm like, why did you do that? You know? And she said, because I felt I had to prove something. I felt that I had to, you know, pave a trail for women to come. And so as I'm sitting here today, I'm thinking a lot about what she did, the sacrifices she made to make what's happening today. Again, it's not normal. Human spaceflight will never be normal or routine, but this is the beginning of making this kind of travel. We got 4 moms on board, a grandmother, making these types of people going into space very routine.
Now, talking a little bit about that, getting back a little bit into the flight profile and what they're going to feel as part of this now routine flight. So the 6 astronauts are currently in the capsule right now, all strapped in, ready to go. Their audio is working. We are waiting for the T-10 here for the go, no go poll. At T-0, you guys are going to, all of us will hear the pop. That's the ignition of the BE-3 engine. It holds down the rocket for about 5, 6, 7 seconds. Inside the capsule, they'll start to see the glow of the flame, and then they will lift off. They will take off. They are in a somewhat reclined seat, and they'll start to feel the G-forces on their body. And so kind of like sitting in a car that's accelerating, it pushes you back against the seat. That's the same here, except they're going up. They will accelerate to they'll have 3 Gs. So here on Earth, we're at 1 G. When you accelerate to 3 Gs, so like if you're 100 pounds, it feels like you are then 300 pounds. But Kristin,
crazy.
It's crazy. But in that reclined position, it's dispersed across your body.
Bad.
It's not as bad. It kind of feels like a weighted blanket. Oh. And then it
nice
eases
and cozy.
up. It's nice and cozy as it gets nice and dark.
I'll take a weighted blanket right about now.
But they're not, don't worry, it's going to get nice and dark, but there's no sleeping on this. They are going to have the most incredible view out of those windows. The capsule will separate from the booster. That's when they're going to feel weightlessness. They'll get the about 4 minutes to unbuckle, enjoy the weightlessness, enjoy the insane views out of those windows. They'll buckle back in, come back through the atmosphere. That's actually when they're going to have the peak G-forces. They peak at about 5 Gs.
Which is kind of counterintuitive. You wouldn't think that you would feel the max G-forces on the descent, but that's when you do.
But that's when you do, and it's kind of like, because you're coming back through the atmosphere, right? It's thin up there, you come back through the atmosphere, it's thick. It's kind of like diving into a pool. It kind of goes boosh against you at 5 Gs, but then it eases back up, and we deploy the parachutes, and they come floating down at about 10 to 15 miles per hour for a nice soft landing here in the desert. At the last second, there's an air cushion that comes out.
Go. Booster.
Here's gonna go, Paul.
Go. Ground. Go. Inco.
Go.
Safety. Go. Capcom. Go. Engineering. Go. This is the flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster, commence terminal count.
Protocol flight.
Yeah, baby. Go for launch. My favorite words.
It's getting real. T-minus 8 minutes and 51 seconds.
Until our 11th human space flight, the first all-female crew flight to space. All 6 of our astronauts are loaded in the capsule, waiting for just 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go here. Now, Kristin, we just kind of walked through the flight profile, what it's going to feel like for our astronauts. Oh, we got Charissa up on the tower to chat with more friends and family. Charissa, who you got out there?
I don't need to introduce the incredible woman. I don't need to introduce the incredible woman next to me, who is a ray of sunshine. Oprah, you are wearing yellow because Gayle's call sign is
sunshine. Yes, right. And all of us, the whole family is wearing yellow today. And I you know, we've been friends. It'll be 50 years next year. We've been friends since we were 21 and 22. And I have never been more proud of my friend than today. Never been more proud, because this is bigger than just going to space. I mean, I think for her, who anytime we're on a flight, she's in anybody's lap if there's the slightest bit of turbulence, has like real anxiety flying, and overcoming a wall of fear, a barrier. I think it's going to be cathartic in so many ways for her.
She told us that she was surprised that you told her to do it. Why did you want her to do this?
Because I think life is about continuing to grow into the best of yourself and the fullest expression of yourself. And I think that this is one of the most fullest expressions you can possibly have. And I know that I felt deeply that she would regret it. And I didn't want to hear about it for the next 15 years. I wish I had gone, you know. And I said, there's only one time that all the women are going up for the first time. You know, there will be other trips, but there's only one first time.
Incredible.
So to be a pioneer is great.
What was the last conversation you had with her?
I said, peace be still. Hold the God's unchanging hand. He's got your back. That's it. That's it.
I know that we're counting down here. We're getting excited for that go for launch moment. How are you feeling as her best friend?
I feel so calm. I don't think I've ever been more calm because I think it's already done. Once she said yes, once she committed to yes, and Lord, did we all hear, should I do it, should I do it? Since Thanksgiving, we've been talking about it. And so once she finally said yes, I was like, okay, we're going. It's a go.
You know what I have loved is her vulnerability, because she's the voice of a lot of us that would be afraid, and she's okay to talk about being afraid. Why has that been so important to show that part?
Well, I think, you know, for every woman who's on this flight, it's about fulfilling something within themselves. For Gayle, it's about overcoming this great fear and also stepping into the moment of excitement. And I think, you know, it goes beyond this moment of just going up in space. I think this will be an everlasting experience. I was just thinking this morning, you know, Gayle has been there for me for hundreds of events. I can't even remember them, you know. But you will never forget this day. None of us will ever forget this day.
Well, thank you for being here, for her, for us. I mean, this is just, it's a historic day, and it's only fitting that you are here front and center as a ray of sunshine that you are, Miss Oprah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're next, you know. I'll send it back to you, Ariane.
Thanks, Charissa. Wow, to see Oprah down here. No, I'm not besties with Oprah, not yet anyway, but if Oprah told me to do anything, I would do it. I don't think Gayle had a choice after Oprah said, girl, you got to do this.
She had to do it. Ariane, we are under T-minus 5 minutes until these ladies hopefully launch into space. And, you know, you were just talking about what these women are going to feel when they launch. But let me tell y'all watching what we may hear, because we have one of the most famous singers on the planet on board, and there is a chance that we will get to hear the audio inside and hear what these soon-to-be astronauts are saying and possibly singing while they're weightless. So
I can't wait for that moment. I'm also hoping she comes down to Earth and does like either a Fireworks Part 2 or ET Part 2. I think that's going to be, and I think, but let's stick on this point for 1 second, Kristin. I think one of the incredible parts about this crew is their ability to tell the story coming out of this in their own unique way. The way Gayle can go on TV and talk about it. Amanda can go and continue to advocate for women more broadly about it. The way Katy can sing about it, etc. The way Kerianne can produce films about it. That is what is so special about this crew in particular.
And that is what's so special about this new era of space flight. This is not NASA. This is not governments. It's not the U.S., China, or Russia. This is the commercial era. These are private companies, and this is Blue Origin sending the first all-female crew into space since 1963. And this is all going to happen so fast in just a few minutes, about 10 or 11 minutes from launch to landing. And don't worry, guys, I did the math. In case you're wondering, total duration of this mission is just about 3 Katy Perry Firework songs. So play that song 3 times. That's how long this mission's going to be.
Fantastic. Well, so at T-minus 3 minutes to go until our 31st launch of New Shepard, our 11th human space flight. Just to tell you what's coming up here. At T-minus 2 minutes, we send the show over to the vehicle. It goes into autonomous mode.
Command engine controller ready to start.
We have our team, of course, in mission control that have their eyes glued to the screen there. There you goes, mission control, quiet and intense. There's one of our crew member 7's capsule communicator, Laura Stiles, she is communicating in the ear of our capsule, in the ears of our astronauts. But what we're going to see in the last 2 minutes, you'll see the fins at the base of the rocket gimbal or just move back and forth. We want to make sure they've got free range. At the base there, you see the nozzle, the engine peeking out. The engine as well is going to gimbal, going to move. Both in conjunction together, those two
Pressing propellant
systems.
tanks to flight pressures.
Those two systems guide the rocket.
And when you are out there at this moment, this rocket feels like it is alive. It feels like it is a living,
Retracting sunshade
breathing,
and capsule access
hissing
bridge.
thing, right?
And there's the gantry pulling back from the
T-minus
rocket.
2 minutes and counting. Transition to onboard hydraulic pumps.
And this right here is the moment that they've been training for. 2 days, becoming a crew, becoming a team.
After you go through an experience like this, it's more than a team. It's almost like a family. You are so tight to go through something as intense
Executing
as this.
aft fin built-in test.
And everything looking really good, Ariane.
So far from mission control, everything is clean and green for this launch. T-minus 1 minute to go here.
Engine thrust vector control built-in test in work. Vehicle is now on internal power.
So in a moment here, we'll see those, what they call the bit checks, the built-in test checks. As you mentioned, Kristin, inside the capsule, you know, as you said, this is like a bridled beast. This thing wants to take off.
Switch to onboard helium.
Here we go. Good luck and Godspeed, ladies. We're cheering you on from
Let's
planet
launch
Earth.
this
Thrust
rocket.
termination system is armed. T-minus 22 seconds and counting.
Guidance internal.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, command engine start, 2, 1, ignition. Liftoff. New Shepard has cleared the tower. Flight. 6,000 feet climbing. Begin throttle down for Q limiting. Engine response looks good. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Mach 1, vehicle is supersonic. Engine back up to full throttle.
Supersonic, we have passed through max Q, maximum
pressures look
dynamic
good.
pressure. That's when the vehicle, the stresses between the atmosphere
Passing
and the
47,000
speed
feet
are
and
at their
climbing.
maximum. So to punch through that is so important. You see the BE3 engines is firing beautifully. You see the stream of steam behind it. Those ladies right now are
1
having
minute, 40
an
seconds into flight.
incredible view on their way to space. Passing through 80,000 feet, 1,300
Passing
miles per
85,000
hour. They're going to peak at about 2,300 miles an hour over Mach 3, 3 times the speed of sound. Shortly coming up, we'll have MECO, main engine cutoff. We will turn off the engine, but the two craft, the capsule and the booster, will continue their ascent to space.
Stand by, MECO.
And our...
And there you saw the main engine is turned off. We're now going to separate the capsule from the booster, and at that point, Kristin, that's when all 6 astronauts are going to start to feel the weightlessness, and shortly thereafter, we're going to let them unbuckle.
Separation is confirmed.
And that right there is the most critical milestone of this whole ascent. Oprah watching her best friend go to space.
And the 2 craft is separated. 328,000 feet, 100 kilometers. Welcome to space, ladies, or shall I say, astronauts.
Oh, the moon! You guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon. Look. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my goddess. That's our pink moon. I love you, Shepard. You're in space.
And just in case it wasn't clear, those are the astronauts. Those are their voices that you're hearing.
And there, they have hit apogee, the highest point in flight, well over 345,000 feet, well over the Kármán line.
Wow.
And at this moment, the astronauts have unstrapped from their seats. They are floating. They are weightless. They are experiencing zero-G for the very first time in their lives. And Katy Perry did say that she was going to sing in space. I'm waiting for it.
Waiting for it.
1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
So that is Capcom indicating a 1 minute warning for our astronauts to take in those last views before they get buckled back into their seats. At
Wow, so peaceful.
And you hear
Dragon. Report status. Copy. Whip. Report status.
And a great, all astronauts are back. That is the rocket that is screaming back down to the capsule to its landing spot just 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. At the top of the rocket, you see a couple of fins that have popped out. Those are to stabilize the rocket as it comes into land. Shortly thereafter, you will see the drag brakes that deploy that will cut the speed of the rocket in half. And then in the last moments,
and there it is. We can see it from the stage.
There comes the rocket down. It's going to relight its engine. We're going to also see a sonic boom. We're going to hear that shortly here.
And remember, this is something that had never been done before until just a few years ago. Truly the stuff of science fiction that you're about to watch in just seconds.
Drag
brakes.
There we go. And booster touchdown, welcome home, New Shepard.
Picture perfect landing right there.
Picture perfect landing.
Right on target.
See that dust kind of creates this dramatic cloud that reveals the beautiful rocket that has just taken these ladies up to space and back.
And I love the echo across the mountains. Is that what I was hearing there?
That's what you were hearing. You heard the sonic boom, then you heard the engine relight, and all of that reverberates in this big, beautiful valley in West Texas.
Stand by, folks. Stand by, folks.
All right, shortly here, we're waiting to see the drogue parachutes deploy from the crew capsule. Those are like the guide parachutes. There go the drogue parachutes.
Just free falling right there until those drogues came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that get pulled out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
And all three parachutes reefing, and they will slowly inflate, slowing the capsule to a nice, smooth 10, 15 miles an hour. They are cruising back home.
3 good parachutes.
And I tell you, Kristin, from having gone through all of the simulations, I have gone through all of the training. They put you in the capsule that simulates all of this, including the sounds, and when you hear the motors of the parachutes pop out, that is the best moment in flight.
Because I know Blue Origin does everything they can to make this as safe as possible, and y'all have an impeccable safety record, but it still has to feel really good when you know that you're coming back to Earth with those parachutes fully deployed.
And we can see the capsule just over our shoulder here, going to be landing north and east of the launch pad, coming down softly and beautifully. 500 feet.
And you will see a puff of smoke when it touches down, a puff of dust. That's normal.
A puff of dust, last milliseconds, air cushion that will kick up the dust. It's a very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
Touchdown. Congratulations and welcome back to Earth. Do status check. Double shot.
Kristin, just some incredible images there. The capsule.
Copy. Welcome back. Better.
Nice. Let's wait for Aisha just a moment here. Make sure they're doing health checks in.
Beautiful.
Yes, and as you heard it there, everybody seemed to be just as ecstatic to be back here, back on Earth. Everybody appears to be fine. Beautiful shot there of the capsule down in the desert. As we were just saying, it looks like a tough landing,
right,
but it is an air cushion in the last milliseconds that just makes it even softer. I will also note the parachutes landed very close to the capsule. That's just an indication that there's not very much wind out here today. A beautiful day for a launch and landing. A beautiful day to add 6 more names to the roster of astronauts that have been over the Kármán line into space. Charissa Thompson. What's the view from
As you guys, as with Orlando Bloom, as jump in the car to go. Pretty, and only imagine how these astronauts, now that we can officially deem them astronauts, are going to feel. I can't wait to get their reaction. We are headed out there now. I will check back in with you as soon as I have them.
Sounds good, Charissa. And as everybody can see, she is those recovery crews are screaming out there. So we actually send them out as soon as we spot the capsule. And there's little Rose, Katie's daughter, who is just Daisy, excuse me, who has just seen her mother go to space and come back. I'm sure she cannot wait to say hello. So, but as I was mentioning, the recovery crew is heading out there. We send them out as soon as we can see the crew capsule and spot the crew capsule descending. There will be at least 2 trucks that go out there. What you'll see is they will come around the capsule. We also have crew member 7 who's in there. She will run out, go around to each window, make sure that each astronaut is fine, and the recovery crews will safe the capsule before we exit the astronauts.
You know, it's hard to pick a favorite moment, right? Launch, landing, it's all good. But the moment coming up might be my absolute favorite, right? It's the moment the recovery team gets out there, then all the friends and family, and we get to see the astronauts emerge from the capsule, and we get to hear what they thought from the last, 10 minutes or so that they were up in space. And I think one of my favorite things that I've ever seen in covering space, certainly with Blue Origin, was that moment for William Shatner, Captain Kirk, as he emerged from the capsule. And this is exactly why you want to send people that are not just professional astronauts into space. What he said was so moving that day.
100% agree. But it's not just the astronauts that are here that are being moved by this event. We've got Tabitha that's with some of the friends and family out there. Tabitha, give me an update from the viewing platform.
I mean, not a dry eye in the stand, I tell you right now. Chloe, I just want to know from your perspective, that moment, what was it like?
I don't think I realized how emotional it was going to be, and I literally had chills all over my body from the second it launched until the moment I just saw it land. And it's sort of hard to explain, because I don't think you would be that emotional, but it's incredible. It takes your breath away. And I feel like I have all this adrenaline and I'm just standing here.
Right? It's very true.
Same. It's really, first of all, we're so thrilled that the girls are safe and everything went so well. And so that's a relief because, I'm sure there's a lot of nerves up there, but to hear the girls screaming and having such
they said they saw the pink moon.
Yeah.
I heard the audio. I was like, that is the coolest thing.
So
I cannot
exciting.
wait to get the footage from inside
and
to see that.
I want to hear every little emotion that they had, and we can't wait to see the footage from inside.
What are the chances? The pink moon, the rocket launch. It's so exciting.
It's a great day.
It's been a pretty phenomenal day. So when are you guys going up is the real question.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. But this made it a little more enticing. Never.
Right.
That's what I thought.
You can go on behalf of the rest of us, but
thank you.
I think we'd all drag you off of the tarmac before we let you go up. But, I like you being an observer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we love being able to share this experience with you, and thank you for sharing how you feel out here with our audience. So it's been really, really incredible. So yeah, the emotions are high because it's so exciting and energizing. And gosh, Kristin, Ariane, I don't know what to say. I did cry. I didn't think I was going to cry, and I cried.
Tabitha, I love you putting them on the spot there. Chloe and Chris, are you guys going up?
Keeping up with the Kardashians in space. We're waiting for it. That's the next all lady launch. Well, thank you so much, Tabitha, for that. And you could